folks, welcome back. Today I am using let me put it back together. I am using the Tarot Mucha. That's what it looks like. And I've not shuffled or put reversals in yet. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to shuffle until Spirit asks me to stop, and we're going to give the message, or I'm going to give the message that Spirit wants me to give. So here we go with reversals. I'm going to take from the bottom first. So what we have here is the King of Pentacles in reverse. The billionaires have raided the cabinet and they are running amok. This is for the United States, it looks like, and that makes sense. I've only lived in the United States, so please forgive me if this seems a bit ethnocentric. I'm going to continue to pull from the bottom of the deck until Spirit tells me, if Spirit tells me to flip over, I'll do it then. We have the Five of Pentacles in reverse. There's no help to be found here. I've said in previous readings that the collective, I, need to stop fantasizing about something coming in to save us, because that's not what's going to happen here. The billionaires are raiding the treasury, raiding the cabinet, raiding the cupboards, in the sense that there's nothing left for us, for the collective. It enriches them, but they've already been enriched. They were already rich before all of this happened. They don't give a flying fuck, dude. Okay? We're not going to turn this over just yet, but we will soon. We have here the Seven of Wands. We are defenseless. We cannot defend against this. Utterly surprised for a lot of people, and for other people, they were somewhat prepared. They knew this was going to happen. But I'll admit that even for myself, I'm a little bit surprised at how fast this is all gone. Spirit did warn us, was gracious enough to warn us that this was going to happen. It's another ball game altogether to actually experience this. Don't flip it over just yet, but after this card, Spirit says, yes, we will flip it over. No more shuffling. Here is the Emperor, and it's in reverse. Our leaders are absolutely feckless, running amok, absolutely irresponsible, emotional immaturity, spiritual, mental immaturity, and it's turned into a circus as opposed to a kingdom. And I note that when I'm laying out my cards, I'm doing 3 by 3. I have the Emperor in reverse on top of the King of Pentacles in reverse. We have no leaders. We have no defenders. Traditionally, the Emperor appears in armor, as if they're ready to get up from their throne and ready to go to war to defend what they need to at any cost. These people are willing to go to war against their own people as opposed to defending them. Please be cautious of them attempting to stir up fights amongst the collective, because when they stir up fights, and we've already been warned about this, Spirit has already warned us about this, when they stir up fights amongst the collective, it takes the attention off of them and what they're doing. They're moving really, really fast, not just in my state of Texas, but across with the federal government, the federal United States government. They are moving really, really quickly. And when they want to push something big, the risk is that they may wage war amongst their own people, or at least start significant fights across state lines, is what I'm getting, in order to keep the attention off of some really, really major stuff that they're trying to push forward quickly under the guise of night. So, Spirit has asked me to turn things over. That was the first 4 cards from the bottom of the deck. We've got some rough times ahead of us, and it's just like month 2, right? It's just been a few weeks since this regime has taken over. We have the Three of Pentacles. They're looking to sow distrust amongst people, and not just amongst people, amongst the collective, but when it comes to charities, food banks, that kind of thing, who would normally be able to take care of people in need. They're not able to. They're trying to sow distrust. They're trying to sow conflict entities, organizations that were always there for people in the past when things got rough can't be there anymore. And this is by design. This is by design. That's what the Emperor in reverse wants. Absolutely taking advantage of their power in order to grab more power. And if they can hurt people who are already disadvantaged, if it gives them more power, more ability to do more damage, then they'll take it, okay? This is a time for you to say, if I see an injustice, I will do what I can to help it. That's how this is going to work for at least the foreseeable future. We are going to need to get into communities and work with each other to get through these difficult times. This is not a circumstance where we're going to be able to work alone in spite of what the Emperor wants us to do. The Emperor in reverse wants to fracture the collective apart. We're going to need to work through the difficult times nonetheless. Okay? This is going to be hard. And people are going to need to see it for what it is. That's going to be the other part of the hard part, right? It's people aren't going to see necessarily what's going on until it's far too late. And the wars, the battles across state lines will have already started, quite possibly. We've got the Ten of Swords. It's in reverse. This is self-sabotage. The body that's being continually stabbed is gray in the face. This body has been dead now for quite some time. It lands on top of the Seven of Wands. People are going to be surprised that the unity, the supposed unity, has not been unity now for quite some time, seen in that dead body over here. Gradually, any semblance of harmony, working together in spite of differences, has been long gone. Long gone. I note that during, shortly after September 11th, that would have been around Pluto and Sagittarius, that's when things started to really take a turn, in my opinion, okay? It felt like things became more extremist. And this is beating a dead horse. We're going to continue to attack the harmony, the unity, even though it's been long dead. And there are going to be some people who are absolutely not expecting this, who will be caught flat-footed, absolutely not prepared to handle the war that I feel that Spirit is indicating could quite possibly happen. Okay? Keep in mind that I'm reading the energy of the moment. This could change, okay? But I don't know that it will. I feel like these people are really looking forward to a war amongst the collective of the United States. I think that they're looking forward to people fighting so that they can push the things through that they want to have put in place. I do think that they're trying to take apart the American Republic so that they can have as much money, as much power as possible. It's zombie-like cancer, like not like the crab cancer, okay, but the disease cancer. It's cancerous, zombie-like behavior. They don't think. They're absolutely unconscious in the sense that they don't pay attention to where those thoughts and feelings come from. They don't know why they behave the way that they do. They don't know why they need to grab onto more power, why they need more money than they already have. They just know that they do. This is senseless behavior. They are not deep thinkers, but that doesn't mean that they aren't going to do a shitload of damage. By the way, Ten of Swords is about thoughts. And it's also about words. And words come out of thoughts that have been brewing for quite some time. Self-sabotage, people are not expecting this. It's going to be painful. But the disunity, the disharmony, or the lack of unity, this lack of harmony has been here in the United States for quite some time. And I would say that certain groups have been agitating for this disharmony now for decades, well past my lifetime. Okay? Spirit is asking me to flip to the bottom. We have here the Knight of Pentacles. This is a little bit disconcerting because this indicates to me people who are willing to go the distance, to work gradually, patiently, carefully, to make sure that the will of these billionaires and these people in our government actually gets carried out. These are the people who are actually going to do a whole shitload of damage on behalf of their masters. These people up top right here. These people in the Knight of Pentacles actually believes that these people deserve to be in power. Maybe, for instance, that God gave them that power. And from a certain point of view, perhaps God is saying, very good, you may have what you've been wishing for so many decades, but be careful what you wish for. You just might get it. I'm going to continue to take from the bottom. We've got the Three of Pentacles, waiting to see what's coming in. These people are willing to be patient and work carefully, slowly, even tediously, to see the results come in that they want to see come in. This is not at all a good thing because of what is landing. Normally, this would be a good thing if it were just by itself, but because it's landing on top of the Three of Pentacles, and the Five of Pentacles as well, they're looking forward to sowing distrust amongst the collective. They're looking forward to making people more divided than they've already been. These are going to be genuinely dangerous people. Okay? Genuinely dangerous people. Be careful of those people who at like smaller levels of government, like state governments, for instance, those are the people who are actually going to create a whole shitload of damage because they're going to bring the damage from the more macro level into the micro level. Again, if you can correct an injustice, even if it is you getting way out of your comfort zone, you must do it. You have a moral obligation to do it, even when it's difficult, dude. The universe, your gods, your guides, your ancestors will absolutely smile on you choosing to right an injustice when it's very difficult, even when it costs you social credit, in the sense that people look at you from another way. If you can correct an injustice, you will be blessed. Maybe not immediately, but in the future, the universe will remember that and will repay you 10 times over. Okay? Here is the Eight of Cups that's in the upright position. People are going to be forced to walk away from a country that they thought that they loved because things are going to get so bad that they're not going to be able to stay here much longer, even though they may really want to stay. People don't leave their homes just for the fuck of it because things are good and everything's great, because they've got all the family and friends and romantic partners that they could ever want. They don't leave because their children are settled and happy. They leave because they have no other choice, because things get so bad that they have no other choice but to leave. For many, for a very, very long time, the United States has done this exact thing to other countries. They've made things so bad for other people in other countries that the people of those countries have to leave. When normally, if their homes had been settled, if their societies and cultures had been all settled, they wouldn't have had a reason to leave. But now the karmic justice is coming its way towards the United States. Pluto in Aquarius, its Pluto return, I should say, is here. And now there's hell to pay. Now there's hell to pay. Now the universe is telling the United States, how does it feel to be uprooted from your home, to watch your home be destroyed through rampant corruption? How does it feel to watch your government take advantage of the most disadvantaged people in your society? What does it feel like? We have the Fool in reverse. We've not been here before. This is absolutely unwreaked havoc. That's the phrase I'm getting. This is absolute havoc that we're heading into. uncharted territory here. With the Fool in the upright position, you kind of get the feeling that this is a cycle that's been repeated before. Even if it was a previous lifetime, this is a cycle that's been repeated before. This is uncharted territory, though, for me in this particular reading when I see it in reverse. This is the start to something new. It's the start to something really, really scary. This particular entity is about to jump off the cliff, dance off the cliff even, without a real thought as to the consequences of falling off that cliff. So if we're talking about falling off cliffs, I wonder if there isn't going to be a point where things suddenly get really, really bad and there's no turning back after that. There is no putting the genie back in the lamp. There's no putting the toothpaste back in the tube. We're just going to have to live with the consequences of having fallen off the cliff. Unconsciously, by the way. This particular entity, I'll put her upright. This particular entity is not at all aware that she's about to jump into danger, basically. But with it being in reverse, this is a collective that is so distracted that they aren't paying attention to the signs. And you know what? This particular card lands on top of the King of Pentacles in reverse, the Emperor in reverse, and the Knight of Pentacles in the upright position. I feel like government officials, both at the local and federal level, are going to be making such a mess, such a flurry of activity that's going to become a distraction for what's actually going on. And while the collective has their back turned, distracted with the flurry of activity over there, we're falling off the cliff. We're being backed off the cliff is what I'm getting. It's like we're facing something, but then we're being backed off the cliff, and then we fall off. We don't even pay attention that it's a cliff. We just think that, yeah. Here we've got the page. Excuse me. Yeah. Nope, that's the page, because I've got the knight right here. This is the Page of Pentacles, and it's in reverse. Loss of money, loss of habitat, possibly for our wild animals. Everybody is going to be struggling to one degree or another, even like millionaires, because they're not billionaires, remember? Even millionaires are going to be feeling the pain in some way or another. They're going to be noticing how much more expensive stuff is. It's like the dollar value is going to be going batshit insane. Like buying power is going to be so much less than it ever has been in American history. The dollar will be almost valueless because like a loaf of bread is going to be $60 or something ridiculous like that, for instance, okay? That may not actually literally happen, but that's an example. Like things are going to be so ridiculously expensive once we fall off this cliff. And there's not going to be any going back. Like inflation doesn't settle down easily. Here's the Judgment card, and it's also in reverse. This is having passed up an opportunity to grow into a new way of being, into a new level of existence. I feel like the United States fails a test at a particular point, and things may devolve into chaos. Once people start to really register how little money there is, once people start to register how scarce maybe grocery shelves are, for instance, I wonder how many people are going to fail the test of coming together into communities, and instead they're just going to attack each other. My Judgment card in reverse lands on top of my 7 of Wands, my 10 of Swords, both in reverse, and my 8 of Pentacles. I just feel like people are going to attack each other because they're going to be in a state of flat-out panic, and that's going to cause a lot of people to migrate, to immigrate even, to other parts of the country that are possibly a little bit more settled, but possibly also leave the United States permanently and not come back for maybe for the rest of their lifetimes. I'm getting the phrase white flight. Unfortunately, I feel like a whole lot of white people will have the ability to leave, and a lot of people of color will be forced to stay because they don't have the means to leave. Once again, if you have the ability to right an injustice, if you have the ability to help people, disadvantaged people, out of the country or to a safer place, please do so. Even if it's expensive, this is your time to rise to the occasion and make things better for one person. No, you can't affect things on a macro level, most likely. Even if you were a billionaire, even if you were a good person who wanted to make things right, I feel like there's somehow some way that this King of Pentacles, this Emperor in reverse, would find a way to thwart you, even your goodwill, your good faith. This is the universe giving certain groups in the United States exactly what they wanted. The discord, the fighting, the war on whatever it is that the cultural war. They're finally giving them what they want. And it's the collective, it's the most disadvantaged of our society who are going to be paying the price most heavily. If you can do something to right a wrong, please do it, even if it's hard. You are needed. This is your time to rise. The ultimate point of this particular channel is so that you can reach into your inner light and see it for what it is, so that you can start to use your sacred intuition to help yourself, to help others. This is going to be hard, but this is the time for you to show who you truly are. We have here the Seven of Swords, again, landing on top of the Fool in reverse, landing on top of the King of Pentacles, the Emperor in reverse, the Knight of Pentacles. These people are going to be stealing from us in the dead of night. We're going to wake up in the morning and new chaos has erupted. New awful things have happened. And also, if we continue to think of that analogy where we're being backed off the cliff of the Fool, we're going to realize how much has been stolen from us once we hit the bottom, once we hit rock bottom, how much we lost. And people are going to wish for the times when we used to be divided, but things were okay, where we could get a loaf of bread for, I don't know, $2.50 instead of $60 if we're going to continue to go with that analogy, which may not actually be real, okay? But just keep that in mind. People are going to wish for the old times when things were still divided and people still fought but didn't kill each other because people were so panicked, so desperate for food, for assistance in some way. They're going to wish for those old times. We have the Hermit in reverse. A lot of people are going to be asked by the universe, by source, by their ancestors, by their guides, to go into a place where they can be in solitude, study with the universe, ask themselves, why am I the way that I am? Why did I participate in the things that I did, if they were injustices, for instance? A lot of people don't like to be alone. Physically alone. A lot of people don't like to be alone and unplugged from the internet, from social media, from the news. They don't like it because if they are unplugged from other people, from family, from friends, from romantic partners, from their children, if they're unplugged from social media and the news and everything else, then they have to confront who they are. Wherever they go, there they are. And a lot of people are not willing to confront that. And out of that desire to not confront who they really are, that's when people are going to react and get dangerous and possibly, again, steal from the most disadvantaged among us. People of color, LGBT folks, disabled folks, homeless folks. They're going to grab from people who cannot defend from themselves. You need to be cautious of these people because they're also going to do a lot of damage. Communities are going to be vital to protecting the most disadvantaged among our society, dude. If we can't win on a macro level, we need to ask ourselves, what's really important? How can I win on a micro level? Here we've got the Empress No matter what, remember that the universe has abundance waiting for you. Even when the collective chooses not to rise to the occasion, even when they choose to fight unconsciously amongst themselves in order to make themselves feel better, remember that you can still access your abilities as the Empress, regardless of your gender identity. And remember also that the billionaires and the corrupt government that we've got in place are hiding all this abundance from us. But keep in mind that the true abundance is within you. When you walk away from a situation that you cannot affect anymore with that Eight of Cups, remember who you are at your core, regardless of your gender identity. That you are a deeply feeling, can be a deeply loving, deeply compassionate individual, and you need to reach deep, and you need to rise to the occasion. Seen here with the Judgment card. You can put it upright. You can choose to rise to the occasion, up-level who you choose to be. You can choose to recognize yourself as the Empress. You are the Queen of Swords, the Queen of Pentacles, the Queen of Wands, the Queen of Cups, all in one. And if you can recognize that you are a complete work of art by yourself without any adjustments needed, you were born that way. If you can recognize that within yourself, you have up-leveled yourself. You have heard the call of judgment and you have risen to the occasion. You can move on into the World card, ready to celebrate the end of a cycle and to start a new one. But please keep in mind, this is not going to be easy. This is going to be hard. It must be, because spiritual up-levelings aren't easy by nature. Going to flip over and take from the top. Disunity, disharmony, Two of Cups in reverse. Fighting people. A third party may be involved when it comes to stealing, because the Two of Cups lands on top of my Seven of Swords and on top of my Fool in reverse. Being backed off a cliff, falling to rock bottom, realizing how much we've lost, and just in an utter state of complete distrust, not just of each other inside the United States, but of distrust of people who were once our friends, like Canadians, for instance, like the European Union, like, I'm just pulling countries out of my ass, dude. Friends with Mexico, too. Complete distrust of other people, and I do wonder if there isn't going to be a third country who invades and takes advantage of the chaos in the United States. And this is going to be a subtle invasion. It's not going to be, and now boats have landed. Chinese boats, for instance. And now Chinese boats have landed and they're taking over California, for instance. Okay? I think that this is going to be very much under the cover of night, so to speak, shadow. And it's just going to add more fuel to the flame. I'm wondering if there won't be a severe lack of safe spaces, not just for disadvantaged people, but for people who were formerly middle class, even for millionaire folk. I wonder if there just won't be any safe spaces anywhere for someone who is unlucky enough to have the American label slapped on them. Got the Nine of Swords, endless destruction, endless fear of destruction, not being able to sleep. There are going to be people who will absolutely be kept up all night because they're going to be so afraid. And I should say that this lands on top of the Hermit in reverse. These are the people who just go through life unconsciously, don't think about why they do what they feel. They don't think about any of that shit. And they don't evolve themselves. And these people are going to be up fruitlessly at all hours of the day and night, absolutely paranoid at the state that this country is in. Page of Pentacles up top. Okay? And you need to, again, I'm warning you again, to watch out for these kinds of people, because They are tortured within themselves, and they're looking to export the torture from within themselves out to people like you, out to disadvantaged people who are already going through it. What can you do to right the wrongs that you're going to see, dude? This is it. I'm going to stop with the tarot right here, and I'll move into my oracle deck here in just a second. This is the Six of Wands. It's in reverse. Celebrating something, but this is the celebration of human loss. The loss of human lives. Celebrating, but at what cost? Absolute destruction of our society. It should be like this, okay? There you go. At what cost? Our government and the people in our government, in the news regime, the billionaire class are going to be celebrating when they see people killing each other. And I'm not monetized, so I can say that. This is going to be a painful, tragic time. The billionaire class, the new regime, are going to be celebrating when they see the Empress, who they perceive to be the Empress, being destroyed. But keep in mind, the Empress is within you. It is not an environment, necessarily. Even when you are going through a hard time, you can still personify the Empress. Even when you don't have actual material abundance, you can be the Empress in your heart, in your mind. You can choose to uplevel yourself, but keep in mind that the people who are in power will not, and they will do everything they can to stay at their lowest. Here with this Judgment card in reverse, they're going to do more than avoid. They're going to actively avoid evolving themselves spiritually, because then that holds a mirror up to who they are. You know what may even happen is that they're going to get really offended by, get really freaked out around people who are so firm in who they are in their spiritual selves that they celebrate those people's deaths. And that's kind of what I've been distressed about now for a couple of years. I've been so freaked out at the deaths of good people, of genuinely sweet people who pass away at the hands of people that they thought were friends, or family who pass away at the hands of people that they thought they could trust. We're going to see more of that, and I think that's what's going to tear at the hearts of a lot of the genuinely good people, most especially the Empress. It's going to be hard to watch, but please don't let it harden you into this. Please, please, please don't let it harden you into this. Please do what you can to right the wrongs that you're going to see in the upcoming months, and most definitely the upcoming years. People keep talking about the next 4 years. This is already accelerating. They're trying to push everything through as fast as they possibly can. This isn't going to be the next 4 years. We're talking about days, weeks, months. We're going to be having to take things small steps at a time, but even that's going to go by very quickly. No more from the tarot. I've been using the Sufi Wisdom Oracle pretty extensively for these readings since the new year started, and I want to tap into that now. Just 3 cards. Life's purpose. Seek your own deeper vision for life. I think that this ties back into the Empress. You are meant to personify the Empress. At least a significant part of you is meant to personify the Empress. Regardless of your gender identity, you are meant to be an abundant individual, emotionally, spiritually, mentally, all the above, especially when it comes to your behavior, okay? You have a purpose for being here on earth in this lifetime, in the condition with the social background that you are in now. And this is the time for you to figure out why you are here, what you are really, really meant to do. This is going to take introspection on your part. This is going to take shadow work on your part. You're going to need to investigate why you may react in a certain way to some external stimuli. For instance, you need to take baby steps to finding out why you are here during this time if you don't already know. Some of you may already know. You may understand it perfectly well that you are the high priestess, that you are the high priest. Whatever your gender identity may be, you are here to be a spiritual leader, even if that isn't your full-time job. You are meant to shine your light out so that other people have a way out of their own shadows. And keep in mind that you cannot see light as well in the day. Light only works well at night and in dark spaces. That's what makes it difficult to be a torchbearer, to be someone who knows how to shine their inner light and lead other people to their own inner light. This is going to be hard, but I promise you the journey is worth it. You have speak out, communicate, and solve conflicts. Maybe you are meant to be a peacemaker. Maybe you are meant to resolve some conflicts. I've said before, if you can right a wrong, if you can take care of an injustice and bring about a semblance of justice, at least to the person who has been wronged, that is part of what you should be doing. And maybe that will lead you onto the path of your life's purpose. Perhaps one act of righting a wrong could lead you down a trail where you discover why you were here, born here, in this condition, with the history that you were, why you were born this way. You're going to need to use your voice to help other people who cannot help themselves, who are disadvantaged in some way, who are already kicked down, have been kicked in the teeth for years. They cannot defend themselves, but maybe you can with your words. It's tied to that Ten of Swords I'm feeling in reverse. Do not watch a Ten of Swords moment. Backstabbing, betrayal, sabotage. Do not watch that in silence. You need to record it. You need to upload it. Obviously do it in a safe way for you, okay? Because we want you to continue to stay here and continue to right wrongs, continue to find your life's purpose. But if you can do something to show the world what's actually going on, please do that. And I suspect that you're going to have an opportunity to watch disadvantaged people be herded up, be taken away to who knows where. And that's going to be your opportunity to record. Even if you can't do anything for those people to get them out of that situation, you can film that event and you can put it out anonymously on social media, okay? I've been really enjoying Blue Sky as an alternative to what was formerly known as Twitter, okay? Please be safe. There are still people who want to back you up. The ACLU, for instance, may be of great assistance in helping you get that recording out to the world with as little impact on you and your anonymity as possible. We still want you to be very safe. Amidst all this talk of division and divisiveness, and amongst the collective and certain groups attacking other groups in particular, we have the Union of Love card. Embrace the beloved within your heart. Remember how I talked about the Hermit in reverse and about how there are going to be some people who cannot be with themselves they cannot be by themselves. They cannot be unplugged because that would force them to confront who they really, really are, and they cannot stand who they really, really are. So they export all that energy out, all that pain and torture out onto others. You need to still love yourself and by example show those other people how they can love themselves. They are most likely going to react violently towards people who show how much they love themselves and love others. Keep doing what you were put on earth here to do when it comes to loving the most disadvantaged of our society. It's also about recognizing that you are the empress within yourself. You are a work of art within yourself. You don't need any adjustments. You were born that way. You just need to recognize who you truly are. And that's all from me. I'm sorry if what's been going on has been distressing. Please reach out to members of your community, to people that you can really, really trust. You need them at this time, and they need you. I hope that you all can grow together. Thank you for watching to this point. I would love to discuss this reading with you in the comments if you feel like it. Otherwise, have a good one.